Welcome everybody out. Our topic tonight, finding strength in the face of cancer. I think we called it Facebook, improving cancer survival odds naturally. We've had a lot of friends that we've worked with, even family members that have gone through, various types of cancers. And there's, you don't just have to sit back and allow, the medical world. There's going to be things that your doctor will have for you, and this doesn't replace any of that. But there are some things that you can do to improve your odds with cancer. And we have some people on the call who either have relatives that have gone through cancer or they've gone through cancer themselves, and so they'll share with us their wisdom and everything. So Jade's put this all this wonderful information together, and so I'll turn the time over to her.
Well, thank you, Ben. See, I am not like an expert in cancer or anything, but I feel that I need to share this information because I've been able to help a lot of my friends and we've had some amazing results. So I feel like I can't hold back when I know that there's something I can do to help people. So we had of course, my mum had cancer and we helped her and she's better now. But we had a friend that was on stage 4 and the doctor didn't have, much to do with her anymore and said, just to wrap things up, and she has 2 months to live. And her family, they thought, well, we have to do something. So they flew her to Australia and she met me and we did everything we could. And I'm sharing the things that we did. And within about 2 months, she was able to gain weight and eat and sleep. And she said she slept so much. She said, I'm always sleeping. I'm like, that's great. And then about 4 months into it, she said, I'm well. I'm better. I'm not feeling hurt or pain anymore. I'm better. And the family was shocked. And then she went back to her country, and it was great. She lived for a whole year. But the family stopped giving her any oils or supplements, after the 4 months. And I was a little bit disappointed because I'm like, didn't you see how well she was doing? Keep going. It's not a lump and a bump that we chop and take out or, treat a little bit and then get going. We need to support people at the cellular level. So I met her when I met this friend of mine. She said that it was meant to be so she can share this message with the rest of the world, with her family and friends. So, and I have met so many people with different stage cancer, different sort of cancer, and I show them how to support their body. And they've come back and say, hey, we're not hurting anymore, and the doctor doesn't know why. A friend had stage 3 cervical cancer, and they were going to go in and do some surgery. And we did all these oils, all the healing, and then right before the surgery, she said to them, can you please check and just make sure things are still the way they were? And they checked and they said, well, it looks like things have healed, and maybe stage 1 maybe. And then she just decided, no, that's it, not going to go through with this surgery. She's heading home, and she's been well since. So it's really interesting what we can do to support our body. So on this call, welcome everyone. On this call, we do have Jean, one of our newer team members. And Jean has a bit of a story, and we want her to share her experience with her journey with you. So Jean, would you mind sharing a little bit? Oops, let's unmute you.
I'll be honoured. Thank you, Jade and Ben. So my name is Jean Tahira. I'm 45 years old and I live in Sydney, Australia. And sort of to condense the story, because I could go on all day. So basically, I stumbled across doTERRA, and it wasn't by accident, at a time where I wanted to do it to try and help my sister who was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I remember going to a class and just feeling overwhelmed, because the world that I grew up in, we never took supplements. We just tried to eat well. But there was a lot of stress in my life, and at the time I didn't understand it. So I wasn't I was very skeptical, I have to say. You know, oils to me were like, I had a girlfriend and she's just my kindred spirit, and it was like hippie thing, and I loved it when she rubbed it on me, and you know, and this is like when we're 18, so very young, but I just didn't believe in them. And so when I started to, when I was learning about these oils and about natural health, I remember walking away for the first time. I think I'd experienced anxiety that I had realized or acknowledged, and thought, we're doomed. Where do we start? Because it's everywhere. It's in our environment, everything I eat, everything I do. I remember them saying, just start with one thing. And that was over 2 years ago. And so I started to implement that in my home, little things at a time. And I started off with just the very simple oil, peppermint. And my youngest son is severe asthmatic. And so I thought, well, what I've learned, I'm just going to put it to the test. And every winter, he would always end up in hospital, and like for a good solid week. They would pump him with steroids and all sorts of things. And it just became a pattern, and I dreaded winter. And we started to notice some changes, and I came to realize that oils worked, and they were more powerful than I understood. So I was not ready to receive them, not the way I understand them today. But really, as I look back and reflect, the journey was really for me, because about a year after my sister went through the journey, at the time she was not open to the oils and not open to natural health. And I had to respect them, and I said, okay, that's okay. So I applied it in my life with my little family and started to see some amazing changes. And lo and behold, the sister of mine, about less than 2 weeks ago, she finally came to me and said, I've had enough. She said, I've had enough of taking all this medication, and we're just getting sick and sick and sick, and nothing's happening. So she finally signed up, and she got the oils, and she's taking care of our little sister who's mentally and physically disabled. And there's a lot of side effects and things that she goes through. And it's just been beautiful to see her implement that in their lives. So with my journey, about a year later, I find out that I had breast cancer. And I have to admit, at the time, my life was just, I was always, fixing everything. I was the, fixer up of everything. And I felt like it was my role, my responsibility in the home. And I'm the middle child of 5 girls. And we hit a storm, like we were riding a storm, and I remember feeling a huge weight on my shoulders, and we almost lost my mum and dad the same night. And my mum, being a very strong woman, she's now on feeds. She is no longer able to look after herself. My dad suffers dementia and Parkinson's. My mum had a massive stroke and a heart attack all at the same time. And this was 2 weeks before I was due to start my journey. And so I was just overwhelmed. I was very vulnerable, and lo and behold, I had this beautiful oil, and it was right next to me. And I remember driving down the freeway after I had to say goodbye to my parents, and I apologize if I cry, because it's very close to my heart. And I remember just feeling I don't know how I got home. I pulled over on the freeway, and I just grabbed the oil, and I just sniffed it. And I just broke down, because I was very numb for the week leading up, watching my parents. And I remember literally watching the doctors, like a whole team of them, come in and try to revive my mother. And I had to make probably one of the hardest decisions in my life, was that I had to walk away, because I couldn't look after them anymore. It had to start with me. And so I began my journey, and I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And it was a really hard journey. We went through a whole series of doctors. We kept getting, sadly, we learned that you cannot trust, you'd be smart not to just trust the one. And Ned and I knew at the very beginning, when they had given me the prognosis and explained what was going on, that there were some things that did not sit right. And we're no experts, I'm no medical expert, and it can be very overwhelming. and you feel very vulnerable and you feel very scared. But I also knew that I've always pretty much been in tune with my body. And my body had been telling me for quite a while that it's exhausted and that I'm tired and I'm emotionally drained and I'm physically drained and mentally, and I couldn't do this anymore. But I wasn't listening to the science. And this is all part of learning about holistic healing and finding that balance. So we went through a series of specialists and got different opinions, and we finally found a specialist that was willing to work with me, because we knew it was a complicated cancer that we're dealing with. So I did everything by the textbook, went through the whole series of chemo and radiation, and that's actually how I stumbled, not by accident, on Jade and Ben. And I remember literally lying on the bed at stages where I could not even lift my head off the pillow and crying, and I'm having conversations with Jade and Ben. And some of these beautiful spirits, like just spirits that came to my aid. But the truth is, the tools were there, but I wasn't ready. Mentally, I was drained. I had to go through the whole physical, it was a decision. Let me backtrack a little bit. When we chose to do go through the conventional treatment, it was against everything that I believed what was best for me. But it was a complicated cancer, and my family and my son and my husband, they were like, "Mum, please don't risk it." And I remember crying. I was on my way to my first chemo, and I was crying because I felt like this wasn't for me, and I didn't know enough to be able to get help holistically. So I did it reluctantly. But I also remember I was in the chemo room, and I remember the nurse was ready to get started on me, and I just fell apart. I cried like a baby, and she looked at me, she said, "It's okay, Jean." She says, "We go through this all the time with patients." And I said, "Can you give me like 5 minutes?" I said, "I just need 5 minutes." And we're in this circle, and all the patients, we're all facing each other. So everyone's all hooked up to the line, ready to go through the chemo. I went into the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, and I remember saying, "You can do this. As much as my heart doesn't want to do this, I have to." And then I just said a quick prayer and gathered myself together, walked out of the room, and I got started. I'm now sitting at a stage where the cancer's come back. But I'm actually really, really excited. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm excited because I have the tools that I feel at peace with. I have the tools to help me. And I have to say, after going through the whole conventional treatment, and I did it by the textbook, I did everything that the specialists and doctors told me. I had a beautiful session with my specialist. I said, "So now please allow me." And so we talked about the pros and cons and the risks. I said, "Please, will you allow me to do this?" And she honored it. And that was so liberating for me, because after the treatment, it left me debilitated. It left me with a lot of permanent side effects. And being 45, I've always been active and, well, and I thought I was healthy. But I came to understand that, okay, they went in, they removed the 10 tumors they found in my breast. The chest wall areas where the complication lies and the margins. So I found things, tools. I'm actually going to show you a picture of some few things, and I know it's taken a lot of time, but I want to show you something. I don't know if you can see this, Jade.
Your oils, yeah?
So these are, I want to just share with you this journey that I've started on with holistic healing, and not understanding the balance of the body, the mind, and the emotions. And I may have missed a point, but I was in a lot of pain. And beginning of this year, we went on a little trip, and it actually set me back quite a bit going on this holiday. Our family desperately needed it, but I was not in a good place. So I had some oils. I didn't have everything, but the soul reached out to me. I heard about doTERRA having convention, and I wasn't here doing the business. It's purely just for my own personal and my family's well-being. And I just felt this need to go to this convention because there was some properties, there's some scientific parts that I wanted to understand better. And this beautiful soul reached out to me, and Jay's well aware of this, and she gave me this beautiful gift and gave me a ticket so that I could attend for free. And nothing in my life has ever had, nothing happens by accident. And it was there that I knew about frankincense, and I started to take frankincense daily. It's my king of oils. But then I learned about copaiba. And it's this beautiful oil which, ever since I've taken it, I started to notice some big changes. The pain that I was going through, it reduced it in a really big way. Anxiety, inflammation, muscle pain, and just general pain, because it was really hard to function on a daily basis raising a young family. So copaiba, or copaiba, is what they call, I guess, became my saving grace. And we joke about it because, you know, it's the cannabis minus all the side effects. But it's been my best friend. Lavender, which is, I could not stand lavender, and once I came to understand its properties and the constituents, I realized I was not ready to deal with the whole emotional and, but serenity blend was one of my, I had a really hard time sleeping. They wanted to put me on a lot of antidepressants and high-level antidepressants, which I refused to take. I said there has to be something else. I fell in love with serenity, and it allowed me to do a number of things. That allowed me to have, because I was suffering a lot of mental fatigue, a lot of anger. I was angry that I never honored what my heart and soul was telling me to do. And I had to get through, that was part of my healing. And my mood swings, and I think we talked about this, I became a doer in a horrible way. My sister talked about this, that I was just snapping, like they were forcing my body to go into menopause, and it just really messed me up. And my poor children were suffering, and my spouse, but they were very, very patient and just had to try and ride the storm with me. But serenity allowed me to really get the quality sleep. I was getting maybe 2-3 hours sleep, and that's not good. Now I can sleep a good 7 hours, and that's pretty good considering. Bergamot, of course, was my saving grace at the beginning of my journey, and it helped me even when I came back after a holiday this past Christmas. I went through really bad depression, which was expected when I think about the journey I went through, but it helped me with the mental and emotional stress, helped balance that, but also helped me with the physical.
Sorry, that's we have a quick question to just to butt in here. How much copaiba did you use?
I just do 2 drops. I do 2 drops daily.
Okay, internally?
I take it internally. I drop it under my tongue.
Okay, so we just had a question here. One of the listeners, fantastic. Yeah.
I dropped it. I did it first in a cup. I thought, well, the taste is really pleasant. If you've gone through chemo, you can deal with any kind of oil, yeah. DDR prime, and that's really cool. That's interesting.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I just dropped it under my tongue.
We're going to talk a lot about DDR prime tonight.
Yeah, so we'll have you add to it as we go through each of those protocols. So that's fantastic. We have several people that have gone through a bit of cancer on this call already. And I know that we've had lots of wonderful stories as well. So should we just move along and just talk about each thing, and then maybe you can just add what you know and your experiences. So we have Debbie Gordon on here, and a few other people that have had lots of experience with helping people. And then you can add to that so that people can remember what to do, because, you know, making a big list of all the things that you've done, sometimes it's like, whoa, I didn't get all that. Okay. Yeah. So would you like to do that? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. So
okay. Jay, do you want me to post that? Would that be better for everyone?
That would be great,
yeah,
actually.
Really,
do you see the chat on this? Actually, the best thing that you can do is actually there are comments on here. And we've had a lot of people who have commented and share their stories and their experiences. So we would love it if you could just add your protocol and what you use to that as well.
On the bottom there, so people can see.
That would be amazing, so that everybody else can have that as well.
Yeah.
That's very good. I'm really grateful for you sharing your story and your and I like what you talked about, the emotional side of things, because I think that a lot of people don't realize, how that is a part of the journey as well, as the emotional side of things.
Yeah.
So just to recap for our listeners, you're using frankincense and copaiba, lavender, serenity. What were the other? Bergamot you started to talk about?
Bergamot and balance. Bergamot and balance really helped me during the depression stage. Because it's a really, you're very vulnerable. That helped me through it. And Zindacrine, I have to say, I was using lemon, but I just felt lemon wasn't enough as a detox. So I switched to Zindacrine, and Zindacrine became my best friend as well.
Good. Okay. Let's get you to put all those things in the bottom of the post here.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for sharing all that. Thank you so much.
And it's very difficult to talk about it, but it's actually, the more you talk about it, Jean, the more I think objective you become. You've taken yourself out, and then you'll be able to help others too. So I've had friends that go through a certain journey and they're not quite ready to share it yet, but I'm like, when you are, you'll be able to help a lot more people. Okay, so keep working through that. So that's fantastic.
I'd like to thank Andrea for posting the question there. Some other things you can do for paying the DDR prime, take that internally. There's the complex, DDR prime complex as well.
Yep, so we have it here. We'll talk about it. Anyone else want to just say anything before we keep going?
Complex, polyphenol complex. Yeah. Any other questions anybody has for Jean? Anybody else want to add?
The other thing I thought about was my aunt looked at what she was eating and got that book, What to Eat for Your Blood Type, because it really helps support your body and what it needs during that time as well.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's right. So we'll talk about food. So let's get started. Get into this post here. With my experience with essential oils, by the time my mom was diagnosed, it was funny because, normally when people are going, you don't detect anything. But when, we had all the kids move out and they're married, they've got kids. And then when she's an empty nester, all of these things came up, right? So when she was diagnosed, we didn't get scared or panicked at all. In fact, she had two friends, a lady and a gentleman that was diagnosed with cancer at the same time as her.
And she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer.
Yeah, she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Her friend was diagnosed with breast cancer, and her other friend was diagnosed with prostate cancer. When we discovered what it was, I was in America, and I said to Mum, just wait and we'll figure this one out, we'll work on it. But the doctor said, no, it's an emergency, we got to go in and cut it out and all these things. She made her choice with a family that was in Australia, and so she went in and did the surgery. And when she awoke, she said, you know what, I was done. I didn't want any more medication. And the nurse that was helping her, she was coughing, and she's like, okay. And then I gave the nurse some lemon oil. And I'm like, Mom, you just woke up. I'm like, I know, but she was coughing and I can hear it. So she's that kind of person, very loving.
And that's, I think, a really difficult thing is when people are hearing something from their medical professional and they've got other ideas.
Yep.
I remember, Jean, when you were diagnosed and when you were facing that decision whether you wanted to go to do chemo or not, that was a really difficult decision to go through. And that's part of the journey. And you have to make those decisions yourself.
We have to respect people's decisions too. We can't say, oh no, you're crazy, why are you doing that?
Don't try to talk people out.
You support them in whatever they decide, and then with the oils we support them in as many ways as we possibly can. But I just want people to know that a cancer diagnosis isn't a death sentence. All right, so don't just give up and give in and just surrender to the doctors and whatever the doctors say.
It's not a question of whether you're going to do what the doctors say or the medication or treatment or whatever they prescribe or essential oils. the great thing about essential oils is they're like food, so you can do them at the same time as whatever
And it's
else you
complementary.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But one funny thing is when people say, okay, I'm sick, whether it's cancer or not, they have, some doctors will tell them, hey, stop whatever it is you're doing, all the vitamins and all these things, the supplements and stuff, and then just only do this. So I'm thinking that's a little bit funny to me, because it's sort of like saying don't eat healthy foods and just focus on these chemicals.
and another thing that Jane says, you are entitled to a second opinion.
Yep.
You can seek out another doctor who would be friendly toward alternative remedies. There are doctors out there that will, that do understand this type of thing.
So second or third opinions.
Yeah, seek out a second, third opinion. There are some doctors out there that are aware of essential oils and what they can do. They would be able to give you a better prognosis in that light.
Yeah. So I'll share with you what we did because of the understanding that we have, and we will do our best to support the body, okay? So the very first thing I want people to understand is just that our cells have 3 jobs, right? It has the job of duplication. It keeps making copies of itself. It has the job of specialized function, to do the work of whatever it's supposed to do. Okay, and the third job is apoptosis, which is self-destruct. So these 3 jobs, each cell needs to do it well. So what happens when we have toxins and fungus and things inside our body? It mutates and it damages our cells. And these mutated, damaged cells, if they duplicate themselves and they stop triggering self-destruct or die off, or, then we call that cancer. We call that tumors. We call that cyst and other names. But basically, it's just these cells that are rogue, and it keeps duplicating and duplicating. It won't trigger self-destruct. Okay, so what we want to do is to do a few very basic things at the cellular level. So that's why I just want to share with you some of these things. And if you have experience in these areas, just please add to it and jump on and share your experiences with us.
So what we're doing, the main idea here is we're strengthening the body.
And the cells and the immune system. Okay, so your body knows how to heal. You just have to believe that your body knows how to heal. You are made to heal. The medications and the chemicals, they're not healers. You are the healer. Your body is the healer. Even the oils are not the healers. It uses the oils for as tools to help the body heal. Okay, and part of healing is to cleanse the body, to help the mind and the body and the spirit. Everything has to change, okay? And part of changing is to reduce stress, to sleep better, okay? Yep, Jean?
Jade, you talk about how the body knows how to heal itself, and that's so, I learned that even during my chemo treatment, had ulcers break out of my mouth during treatments. So I couldn't stomach a lot of things, but my body just yearned for vegetables, lots and lots of greens, So my husband would just juice it. And that's all I was able to stomach. Interesting enough, that's all I was able to retain during my whole chemo treatment. But so it's interesting how the body knows. And even things, even after surgery and going for chemo, my body started to react to certain things which I'd never been allergic to. There was the bandages, the creams that nurses were putting on, and I broke them out in really bad ways. And so, when the nurses left, because I have to honor them, I can't get them upset because I needed their help. They needed to do what they had to. But what I would do is then I would remove it and I would rub my oils on, and lo and behold, I started to heal. I let them do it for a while, and I was still in trouble, and it was getting raw and blistering in horrible ways. So my husband and I said, let's do the oil. So we started doing that, and I healed much, much quicker. So it's interesting how our bodies just know. So thank you, Jade, for touching on that.
Yeah.
I would just quickly add something here.
Austin?
The body is self-regulating. Its natural state is to self-regulate. It's not what's the word? Like, people kind of think, oh, my body's failing and I need something else. I need someone else to help my body function. No, your body functions perfectly. Every symptom that your body produces, every disease that manifests, is your body actually responding intelligently to the environment and the internal environment. So respect the body and everything that it does, because every response that it has is an act of self-regulation. If you develop something for malignant or whatever, it's your body protecting itself the best way it can. But if you have too many toxins in the system and that sort of stuff, your body, it slows it down. It's like a miscommunication, and it's harder so the body has to cope in a way that's the best it can. But your body's always working for you, never against you. And I think that's a very important thing to know.
Yeah, that's right. So if it's like a tumor, it's like a garbage can. I know that it's putting all the toxins in that little area. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Austin. Very well said. I love it. It's beautiful that she said, we're doing all we can, and then the body kind of does all these funky things. So with my mum, after the surgery, she came home and we just cleansed the way she ate. We cleansed the house. We got rid of all the toxins, because she was like, oh, let me finish using these up. And I'm like, no, just get rid of it now. And I don't care how much you're saving, we're going to get all natural cleaners, all natural everything. She ate super well. I mean, she's Vietnamese. She eats really traditional foods anyways, and she's already vegetarian. But we ate even more greens and stuff. And, everything changed. She slept better, but her body had to detox a lot of toxins too. So there was a bit of discomfort, a lot of healing, emotional healing. But within 2 months, we're great. And we went back to the doctors. They did blood work and they tested everything. And they're like, wow, you're doing great. And then we did that for 3 years straight, every 2 months. Every 2 months, we went back and the blood work was great. And her girlfriend, unfortunately, she passed away. And my mom was a little bit thrown off by that, because she was thinking, whoa, we got cancer. We both have cancer. And this girl, she just went real traditional. She didn't change the way she ate. She didn't, and then she passed away. And then her other friend, he went through chemo and he just looked like a mess. And with his hair loss, and he just looked pale and sickly. And his niece came over. And this is when it really hit my mom, how blessed we are, right? She said, the niece came over and said, look, I just want to make sure you're okay, because I know my uncle's a mess right now. And she said, just cried and held my mom and said, why don't you look sick? I heard that you guys had cancer, and why don't you look sick? And my mom's all, my body knows how to heal. Here's all the oils that I'm using and stuff. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Why? So angry, because why don't we get taught these things? Why isn't this an option, right? So this is why we have to share with people. We don't have to wait until the professionals, learn about this. We can teach people how to take care of themselves and honor their body. Yeah. So first of all, like everything I do a mind, body, and spirit approach to everything. So the very first thing is, of course, remember that your body is the healer. It is not your enemy. Okay. It didn't just open and just suddenly, hey, here's this problem. Sometimes we have cancerous cells that have been in there for years, and it hasn't duplicated enough for it to be detected. And most of the time, our body knows how to take care of those cancerous cells, anyways. So one of the first and easiest thing to do is just change your diet and then supplement, because our body needs a lot of nutrients. Micronutrients, macronutrients, and then with the lifelong vitality, it's not like the American standard daily amount. It's not. With doTERRA, they measure how much the general public needs, to be in optimal health, and they kind of fill in that gap, right, with their supplements and how much they put in there. It's totally different to the daily standard that they have out there. And they do the same for Korea. They do the same for Australia. So, they take a sample of the population, what people generally eat, and see what people are generally deficient in, and then they make up the difference. Okay, very different to how people approach, the supplements in the past. So this is very high grade, the best grade that I've ever seen with supplements. And it's all food grade, and it's in a way that our body can absorb, especially the omega oils. It's nano size, so your body can absorb it through water layers of your body. Okay, that's unheard of. It's just such high tech, but very, very natural. Okay, and you might think, okay, I take fish oil, but no, this is a blend of marine and blend of plant-based omega oils. So you have a whole spectrum of omega oils, okay, to feed your cells, because your cells sometimes, you know, the symptoms we have is sometimes it's a nutritional deficiency problem. So that takes care of a huge part of our health. Okay, so that's the foundation. The other thing we want to do is take enzymes. So the Terrazyme is a blend of 10 enzymes, and enzymes help with tissue repair. It helps break down the bad proteins that cancer is, you know, so get rid of it outside of our body. So you're going to poop it out, you're going to just eliminate it and break it up. Okay, so you take it on an empty stomach, or you can take it with food, but just do that, a lot of it, I think. Even now, as healthy people, we still take it daily. All right, so that's enzymes. Of course, you know, we talk about eating whole foods because it's fuel, because it's a building block for our body. So we're using good quality food to build our bodies with, of course, and then drink water. All right, lots and lots of water, because that's what our body is mostly made up of. So far, anyone with any comments or questions or anything to add? Those are pretty basics, right? So if we have friends that say, hey, I've been diagnosed, I'm sick, that's what we want to encourage them to start with. All right, so whatever it is that the health problem is, sometimes this here just makes a huge difference already. So I've had several people that have just texted me. I don't know them personally, but I've had friends that are helping friends, and amazing, amazing results. One guy, stage 3 of some sort of cancer, aches and pains in the hospital all the time, started changing in this way, supplements and just the DDR Prime, and already after 1 year he was healthy and he went on holidays, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, and he didn't even do the rest of the things that we're encouraging people to do. All right. Okay, so the next thing after you establish a healthy foundation of nutrition, okay, and cell support, is to cleanse the body, cleanse the cells. Okay, our body knows how to filter. So we do have very gentle cleansers to start with, like lemon oil, the supplements, grapefruit oil. I'm mentioning grapefruit oil because it has high levels of limonene, and limonene is a chemical constituent found in essential oils that has cancer inhibition abilities. Okay, so grapefruit has 95% of limonene, so that's really high. Then we have tangerine, 94%, orange has 91, mandarin has 72, and then lemon has 65. Okay, it just helps your body produce more white blood cells, and that white blood cell is your, you know, cancer killer, and it just helps you repair. Okay, so that's really important. You know, what you're trying to do is get rid of the fungus, the toxins that have built up in your body that have caused a lot of this DNA damage, this mutation of cells. You weren't born like that. You know, it was your cellular breakdown. Okay, does that make sense? Like it was Austin who said, you know, if your cells, you know, can be clean, it can communicate again, and then it will function properly. Okay, it's just a cellular miscommunication that has caused all of these problems, and it keeps going if we don't stop it there. All right, questions or comments?
Andrea is just saying.
Oh yeah, she's craving grapefruit in her water. Yeah, fantastic. Good job, Andrea. Yeah, yeah. So our bodies. Go ahead, Austin.
The Smart and Sassy oil for the cleansing, because it's got the lemon and grapefruit in it already.
Yes, yep, that's great too. Okay, and it also has the other oils that will help us with our body. Be consistent. Do a lot. I would do a lot more. Okay, with my parents, we were crazy. We were just mad oil users at that time, and things picked up pretty quickly. So when you can, guys, do the 30-day cleanse. Okay, if you've had medications all your life, one problem after the next, you might not want to start straight into the 30-day cleanse, because what it does is it opens all your cells, and your cells release fat, and inside the fat, guess what? There's all those toxins that you stored over the years, and your body will not like it. I had a lady, she was on so many medications, and she wanted to do the cleanse. I told her, hold off, just take the supplements, take lemon oil. But I don't know why she just decided, yep, I'm going to do it all in one bang. And that weekend she was nauseous and her body was aching even more. And she thought, oh, it's not working. The oils made me sick. And I'm thinking, no, your body is responding to the toxins.
You're dumping
Yeah,
all the
it's
garbage.
dumping. You're taking lemon oil. It tastes like lemon. If it doesn't taste like lemon in your mouth, then you're probably releasing all the toxins and the heavy metals and stuff. It's not the lemon oil that tastes like heavy metals and toxins. Yep.
Jean?
Jaden, it's interesting. You're right. Also talks about how your body just knows. Water becomes your best friend when you're going through the cleansing, but your body yearns for citrus oils, which is really interesting. You look at the constituents and properties in it. But I also love the fact that I've just lost my thought there. It'll come back. You're talking about the DNA. It'll come back.
Yep, no worries. You butt in when you think of it, okay?
So we have a question
yeah,
here
go
for
ahead.
small children with leukemia. Any thoughts about them having cancer 3 to 4 years old?
Yeah, I've had several people ask me that question, and I always answer the same. There's no one answer. Like, here's the oil for you, magic, boom. It's always, I'm sure there's toxins. Remember, we had a call a couple of months ago, how children are born with about 300 toxins in the umbilical cord blood. Okay, let's start cleansing them. Let's honor the body and allow those cells to communicate again. So even if they're little, I would offer them lemon oil to drink or grapefruit oil to drink, and then feed them healthy foods. Jean?
That's what it was. So when you're detoxing, I was not ready to do the full-on cleansing, and it was because of all the medication that was pumped into my body. So I had to be patient with my body and listen to it. And so I went through stages of it, and it sets your body into like a panic stage where you're in a lot of pain, and you automatically think, if you don't understand how the oils work with your body, it's like, oh, this is just making it worse, so I'm going to stop taking it. But in hindsight, it's actually doing the opposite. And so you need to bear it with patience. And there are certain of the oils that you can definitely take. So one of my big things was I've got these parasites causing a lot of problems. Digestin became my best friend. Didn't think I'd use it, but it helped me get through some of these really difficult stages in the day. So I honor that, Jade, when you're talking about that. Honor your body and allow it to go through in the stages it needs to as it's cleaning and cleansing it.
And also, when you're helping somebody, if you're the helper, you need to advocate for the people that are sick, because they're not in their right state of mind, to be honest, right? And sometimes they don't know what's good for them. So you're encouraged, you're not forceful, but you're still encouraging. So with my parents, I'm like, please just do this, and they're like, okay, yeah. They were good, but sometimes they forget. And then you just have to go, hey, have you done this? No, let's do it some more.
Austin?
I think we've already addressed this too, but just the immune system and getting the immune system back to its full strength is one of your absolute priorities, because that's basically what's going to help you the most. A little quick thing about the immune system: for every degree that your body temperature increases, the strength and speed of your immune system doubles. So if you go up 2 degrees, it's going to quadruple sort of thing, and you get the idea.
Yeah.
And so even heating the body up and going through, putting the body through fever states can actually help boost and strengthen the immune system.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So the other thing too that some experts have said, that your body has a lot of acid, and if you want to alkaline your body and make it balanced, pH balance, of course, that's what greens are. All the green vegetables and the essential oils, cleansing your cells will naturally bring you back to balance like that. So, sometimes people are stuck on one thing. They read about one thing and they say, okay, I'm just going to do, very good foods and balance pH, balance. It's all about balance pH.
All about juicing or something like that.
All about juicing and all about apple cider vinegar or something, just the one thing, and they just keep on playing that one key. Come on, guys. Don't go there, okay? It's a holistic approach. It's always been, and it always will be, because you are in mind, body, spirit, okay?
And so that might include emotional as well as...
And then we use several different oils because it comes into the cells at different angles, and we have pain that goes in different pathways throughout our bodies. So we just want to change. And this is what this whole theme is about, change, okay? All right, so let's go to...
Does anybody have any questions? Andrea, did you have a question earlier? I think we've answered it yet.
I want to answer the other questions as we go here too.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, let's go then.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about DDR Prime. We have DDR Prime in a 30 ml bottle. And that's an important reason. There's an important reason for that, is because doTERRA wants us to use it a lot and often. And then we also have it in a soft gel. Okay. So I'll tell you a quick story. A man in Vietnam, I never met him. His sister came up to us. They're both very old people, and the doctor gave up on him. He had a big growth under his chin, the size of his fist, and the doctor said, I don't know, give up. He's probably going to die. And she's like, isn't there anything we can do for him? And I said, okay, looks like DNA damage, and it looks like it's duplicating wrong, and it's growing. I don't know what the name is, and it doesn't matter really. So I said, let's see what we can do to support the cells in its natural functions. So I said, hey, take 2 of the soft gels morning and night, take a couple of drops of the DDR Prime, maybe dilute it and rub it on that area, that location, to concentrate that oil there. And he did so. So it only took 2 months, and it was the size of a pea at the end of those 2 months. And the sister was so ecstatic. She's like, okay, we need more of those oils, and now we want more oils for all these other people because this is amazing. So that to me says that, this oil goes in at different angles, do different things. So, like Dr. Hill says, one oil can go inside, and then it kind of, does its job from the inside. Another oil comes from the outside and, goes from the outside in. So it's just amazing that way. I'll scroll down really quickly so you can see the ingredients in the DDR Prime. Okay, so for the people that are listening, I'll just read it out to you. So the first column is DNA damage, prevents it. So we have frankincense, thyme, and lemongrass. And then healthy apoptosis. Remember, that's self-destruct, that's cellular death, okay? It's lemongrass, clove, and it's Niaouli or something. I can't even say it. And then, of course, oxidative stress is orange and summer savory. And so those oils together make a powerful combination. I know people rave about frankincense, but when frankincense and other oils are combined with different oils, it actually does a better job. Okay, it kind of magnifies the work that that one oil can do. Alrighty. Of course, you use that if you have say breast tissues that need some support. You want to dilute it and rub it on your breast area. Prostate, rub it near that area, and anywhere skin, rub it around that area. But remember, cancer cells is something that's inside your body, and that's in all the different cells of your body. It's not just in the one location, not a lump and a bump that we just chop and then throw out. We need to take the oils internally too, and that's why I love the DDR Prime in a soft gel. Okay, I give it to my children, every week at least, just to, keep them healthy. I take it myself. So every other day, every 3 days or so, I just take it just to keep me healthy, because you never know what might be happening. There's toxins in our environment that's hurting us in some way. We don't know. All right, so it's amazing at cleansing our body at the same time. We have a doctor that says that cancer is a fungus, and so he believes that cancer is a fungus. you know, and I agree with him. That makes sense to me, because, you know, fungus is this moving, changing target. The thing that breaks down our body and rots our body and decays our body when we die. But unfortunately, when we have it in our body, it's rotting and decaying from the inside. And, you know, when it leaves our gut, it travels into different parts of our bodies, and then it causes a lot of inflammation because our body is trying to find it and trying to attack it. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with people when they say, oh, my body's just attacking itself, you know, and it's autoimmune, or, you know, and it sounds so passive. So I'm thinking, well, you know what, I used to have that, but I don't anymore, just because my body is cleaner. So that's why we encourage people to cleanse. And so do it daily, and do the big program every quarterly, you know, just cleanse and keep things clean. All right. So that's why it's so important to support the cells. And that's, you know, with essential oils, you cleanse at a deeper level. And it's very effective and very quick. And like Jean said, Copaiba, hooray! Came at the perfect time, right? Copaiba. So take Copaiba to help your central nervous system. Take it daily, okay? And, you know, start with a few drops and then add a few more. But I wouldn't go too much, but do it regularly. Okay, it's more important to do it consistently than to do a lot in one go.
So Julie, do you mind if I read this question? So she started taking 2 soft gels a day for health. Do you think that a soft gel for a 4-year-old, nearly 5 years old, is too much? Currently rolling on a diluted on this plan. So
if this,
how much would you use for a child?
If this child is not sick or anything, that's fine. Just do it in a roller bottle up and down the spine, on the feet. That's fine.
I'll tell you what we do for our children. We use a roller bottle on the feet.
Yep. Yep. So,
does that answer your question, Julie?
Yep. All right. So there's a few other things to help you starve the cancer cells and not feed it, because if you feed it, it will keep growing. So we've got milk products, you know, get rid of that. You won't want less acidic food drinks like coffees and teas and things, you know, and drink and eat lots of green leafy vegetables, and then of course, you know, reducing toxins and use probiotics. So that's one thing you can do to help your body with the starving the cancer cell. Okay, Jean also mentioned this, but it's very important for you guys to sleep. No matter what we do, even if we exercise, we eat right, sleep is another, you know, pillar. Okay, if we don't have it, everything collapses. The body's not going to cleanse effectively. We need to cleanse the brain, and that's why we sleep deeply. So there's sleep that we get with alcohol-induced sleeping pills. Those are not going to help our body do that deep quality restful sleep. We do sleep, but we're not going to go into that REM sleep that we really need to really get the healing chemicals started. Okay, we really need those healing chemicals to help us going. Okay, Austin.
With sleep, it brings to mind how our nervous system has two nervous systems, or 2 aspects. There's the sympathetic, which is your fight or flight, and then our parasympathetic, which is our rest, digest, repair. And when that's activated, all blood goes more central to our organs and coats our organs, and we get oxygen-rich blood, which is not acidic compared to CO2-rich blood. And when you're in that calm, which is that calm state that we all like to be in, that's really good to be in. And that's the part of the nervous system that's stimulated while we're sleeping, is the parasympathetic nervous system. And we can do that throughout the day as well, just stimulate that and not be in a constant fight or flight state, because that puts the body into a stress state and can not help the body the way that we want it to.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, thank you so much, Austin. Like my friend, when she had her cancer, she slept during the day as well. Just rest as much as you can. Your body needs it. And so we have a whole post on sleep, so we won't go into it too much right now, but you know, we have lots of ways for you to relax. Okay, so if you're supporting somebody that has cancer, you can help them. If you know how to do the aroma touch massage, help them with it. Okay, and you know, swap favors. You know, do one for them and they can do it for you, just to help balance everything, get you into a more restful and relaxed state. Okay, and that produces those happy healing chemicals. Okay, and that's important because your body is the healer. Alrighty, do you wanna? No, not saying that. Okay, all right. So let's talk about the mind, guys. So Jane's saying that, you know, she had all of it. She was Medusa, and that's a really interesting way of saying that, because we're kind of crazy and we're not ourselves anymore. So there's all of these emotions and energy from the past, from generations, that we've suppressed because we put on this happy face and the mask all these years, and it's all coming out. All right, and it's okay. And if you understand that, you let your family know that, they're not going to run away from you, and they'll know that this is what's happening. Okay, so we teach ourselves. You know, I think when I first started cleansing, you know, one day I just broke down and cried and just, you know, it just bawled like a baby and on the floor. And Ben, he just held me and rocked me and said it was okay. And I just cried and cried and cried, just really big crying tears. And then, you know, after about 20 minutes or so, I was thinking, wow, what was that? That was exhausting. You know, and it was because of just stuff coming through, and you don't suppress it anymore. You're allowed to let all that energy go, and that it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or anything. It's just you've got these pent up energy that needs to be released. So some of the oils that we think it would be good for people to start with, but once again, you follow your instincts and you reach for the oils that your body's asking for. So Andrew was saying, hey, my body's asking for grapefruit. I'm like, go for it. But these are the oils that we think it's a good place to start. Birch is the support oil. If you have birch, use that. This means that you're going to support yourself, and you're going to allow yourself to be supported. Bergamot, I can do oil. Clary sage, clarity, mental clarity, because sometimes we're not in the right state of mind, to be honest, right? Douglas fir means, hey, I'm going to have a fresh start here. It's not the end. Okay, geranium, love and trust, helichrysum, the oil of pain. I can go through this and I'll survive this pain. Right, lavender, okay, communication, wintergreen, surrender. Ylang ylang, have joy, just like a kid. You know, allow yourself to have fun through this journey. Blends, balance, serenity, peace, console, forgive. Forgive is a biggie. You know, what Jean was saying, hey, I was so angry, so mad at myself for not, you know, being better. Why didn't I know these things? Or why didn't I make better decisions? It's a phase. You know, you go through that anger and you forgive. You forgive yourself for not knowing better. Okay, anchor and arise. These are our new oils from the yoga blends. But they have been so powerful so far. I've used it on people that have been, I'm so stressed, and then it really anchors and brings them back home. Guys, calm down. It's okay. All right. Fun oils to have, wild orange and balance, to help you feel confident and give you the feeling of abundance of time. Because sometimes you feel like, you know, I'm running out of time. You know, I have no energy. So that's what it does. Stop the mind chatter, because you can actually make yourself think yourself and wound yourself up so tightly. So balance oil is so important. And of course, centering. All right, sandalwood is another oil for overthinking. Cedarwood and vetiver. Those are big, big guns to help you come down to earth. Quit thinking about a million things and quit finding more things to worry about. All right, this is the time you're trying to be happy, trying to, you know, make yourself, you know, cleanse out your life. All of these oils help you simplify life and reorganize your priorities. All right, you know, put things in 3 categories: good, better, best. And only do things that are in the best category, and say sorry to everything that's good and everything that's better, because you really don't need to do all that. In the past, you thought you do, but you don't really. Okay, and this way you can really focus on what you really need to focus on, which is yourself, your healing, peace, and you'll never be the same. If you go back to the same old person, I promise you that's why people get cancer again and again and again, because they have not changed. They've been, passively healing, and it's not permanent. All right. All of these oils help you stop those negative thoughts. It helps you realize that, life is a lot more fun and peaceful. All right. So I don't know if you heard of the book Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die. Okay. But we have Carol Trueman. She talks about how, people that have cancer, have these negative feelings about themselves. So we want to encourage people to be loving, forgiving, flexible, okay, and have a better relaxed outlook in life. So, for example, lemon helps the mind be happier, leading to the body producing more glutathione. It's like a master antioxidant, right? And it helps with the body and longevity. Or lavender, chamomile, wild orange, marjoram helps produce serotonin. Rosemary, lemongrass helps with norepinephrine. Clary sage help with dopamine. Okay, you can tell your body happy thoughts, but you know what? To be honest, smell the oils. It makes it so much easier. Okay, just to be happy. Try to be sad when you've got your favorite oil on. That's hard. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause for a moment. Questions, comments.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Ben's answering our little text here on the side.
We had a question earlier, and I hope Andrew doesn't mind me sharing. So she says that she had been on LLV and has done a majority of oils for 2 years. Now she's been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Doesn't know how that happened just 1 year out of treatment. So, can you speak to that?
Yes.
Other causes of cancer? You talked earlier about looking at it holistically.
Yep. If I can speak honestly, everything is at its the spiritual and the emotional root. Everything has that root. So go ahead and get the book, The Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die, and the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and look up your particular cancer. If it's breast, what's the breast about? About nurturing, doing more and serving. And so Miss Jean here, she is the peacemaker, and if she can't make peace, help people find peace, she's not going to be happy, and so over and over you feel like you failed. You failed to nurture these people and help them find that happiness and peace. But we forgot that, hey, their happiness is not our responsibility. Whoops. We didn't know that. Okay, we didn't think that. We just thought that this is my job. Or, colon cancer could be just holding on to some negative thoughts for a long time and not letting old stuff go. Okay, and it could be your family, your parents, and it's just thinking pattern. Even though you want to be different and changing, right? You still hold on to some of the things that your parents have been holding on to, and sometimes you're not conscious or intentional enough to fully change from that way of thinking. Okay, so one of my friends, her whole family, her mom, her sisters, her aunts, they all have diabetes, and they're overweight. And she said to me, I choose to be healthy. I choose to be, well. And so she looks like this beautiful supermodel, blonde, tall, skinny. And she said, I just chose. I didn't want to say, oh, it's in our genes. Oh, that's how our family is. Okay. And she chose consciously to be different. And that's what we want to do. We want to really choose consciously. But these books will help us kind of have a guide of, where do I start? Oh, okay, at that level. All right. And then we change there. So it leads me to the spiritual healing here. It's about, ruling out all those negative, passive thoughts. Okay, so we want to have high vibration. So food that has high vibration will help us. But essential oils has a higher vibration, much higher vibrations than just food, than just even greens and natural plants, because it's plant concentrated. So That's why. And you know, if you use the oils, your body will match that vibration. So you'll have you vibrate in a happier and higher way, and so that's well above the vibration of sickness, and well above the vibration of cancer as well. Okay.
The highest vibration is love too, just so everyone knows.
Love and peace. Yep, love and peace. So that, you know, that's why our rose is one of the highest vibrations. Fantastic. So for spiritual healing with this, I advise everyone to start using Immortelle. Immortelle has all of the expensive oils, but they're very high vibrating oils. And it allows you to have a spiritual vision beyond the naked eye. You see people for who they are, their potential. You see yourself, you know, for more than what you are now. You know, you're human, I get it. You know, we can't do certain things, but you can see how you can be better, right? And that's what Immortelle really helps us do. We journal, we meditate, and we really change our thinking to a more peaceful, grateful, loving state. Self-love is so important. We preach that all the time, but that's something that we really need to focus on. Okay, so.
We were talking about the spiritual side of different types of cancers, and I think you touched on it with the looking up Louise Hay's, like the colon or different parts of the body where you have it, or like thyroid cancer and what that could mean.
So with my mum, we looked up thyroid, okay, and it was about not allowing her to speak up, you know, and she held herself back. I actually have a post on thyroid that you can look up all the rest of it. But here's some examples of.
And you know, Louise Hay, the author of the You Can Heal Your Life, she had
cervical cancer.
Cervical cancer, and that's part of her body that was because of sexual abuse earlier in her life. She detested it, and so that's kind of where that
that's where her body manifested the cancer. And this is you know, if we step back and be still for a moment, just allow this experience to give you a learning opportunity, okay? Instead of panicking, get rid of it quickly. Look, it's a wonderful way of learning how to change ourselves. And that's what the DDR Prime is about. It's the oil of transition. You know, transition is change. Right, so Louise Hay, in her book You Can Heal Your Life, she said cancer is deep hurt, long-standing resentment, deep secret or grief eating away at the self, carrying hatred. What's the use? You know, we may not be aware that we're like that. You know, we might be just mad at ourselves. And, you know, you might think, I'm not really that, you know, resentful or anything, but I'll tell you something. When you really are honest with yourself, you know, like I found out, hey, I get mad at myself a lot actually, you know, and I resent some of the things I've done or whatever it is, and deep hurt, and you keep bringing it up instead of letting it go every week, just letting it go. Gee.
Jaden, I love that you touch on that, because one of the things that I thought if you dealing with the physical and the sexual abuse, I thought if I just bury it, it's done. I don't have to ever deal with it again. But part of the whole allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to forgive, allowing yourself to be humble enough to, you know, to reach out to something higher than whether it's spiritual, whether it's, you know, for those that are Christians of God or a higher spiritual being. And it teaches you, you know, I refer to it as faith talk, positive affirmation. And that itself is such a healing power. And it's something that it's really for those that it feels so foreign, you don't want to go there. It is so liberating, and it's so healing, and you need to allow that to go through the whole. Is all part of the holistic healing, and it's frightening, it is, but it just brings so much peace and understanding and tranquility in your life, and you really start to see the connections of why you've been sick, and that, you know, you're not helpless. that there's beautiful things available and tools, and it's liberating.
So you get to the place where you are at this moment, Jean, with gratitude. Thank you for the opportunity of learning. Yeah. Sorry, we're out of time, but I have a few more things to say here, and if everyone is okay, we're just going to continue here.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah. So, so there's some affirmations, just a good start for you. You can make your own other affirmations out there. So one here that we have Louise. Hey, she says, I lovingly forgive and release all of the past. I choose to fill my world with joy. I love and approve of myself. Okay, because when we do that, we're not offended. We're not hurt by other people, or we don't need other people to validate us anymore. We're really good. We don't radiate and broadcast to the world, hate me, criticize me, or, treat me bad, because we're already treating ourselves good. The world will help us treat ourselves good too. So here's other helpful affirmations. I allow myself to have the peace that my soul yearns for. I am complete. I am aligned with my divine path and purpose. Okay, I release all negative thoughts and emotions deep inside of me. I release all pains, resentments, bitterness, hatred, and deep anger inside of me. All right, so those are some, not all. You can make more along that line, but it's important to just slow down, clear out your things that are messing, with your mind, and then just be focused and still and at peace. So a little bit of a note here about the treatments. We talked about being proactive, and just know that things like chemotherapy, it poisons cancer cells and it just destroys healthy cells at the same time, and it can cause a lot of damage to the organs. And the carcinogens stay in your body for 9 to 10 years.
And sometimes you might hear stories about people getting cancer from the treatment.
Yeah, because carcinogen is cancer causing. So go figure. I don't understand that.
These are difficult decisions you'll have to make with yourself, but be proactive. Seek out a second opinion.
Yeah. So here's Carly saying in yoga, she says you have to know the low to appreciate the high. So that's beautiful. Kind of like appreciating the sadness, because that'll help you understand happiness. Yeah, and radiation, it just destroys cancer cells, also burns and scars and damages healthy cells and organs too. So there's a video here, a video series, and it talks about the truth about cancer, right? So
that's just to be informed.
Just learn, just read. It can't hurt.
Just so you know about cancer, whole series in the last episode where they talk about ways to alternative ways to treat cancer, they actually cite the On Guard study. Oh wait, no, it's not. My bad. Sorry, I'm thinking of the other.
They talk about oil. Mm-hmm.
They talk about oils. Sorry, I'm thinking of another thing, but yeah, they do talk about the oils.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Sorry.
And here's all the ingredients in the DDR Prime. So that's just the one oil. We talked about other oils that you should use during this time for different things, but be consistent with this. And just remember, emotionally, DDR Prime is the oil of transition and change. So ask yourself a big question. Am I changing? You have to change from the inside to be able to heal fully on the outside. Okay? So this is all. There's a lot we can say, guys, about cancer. So I put information here. Please comment, add your experience to this. It'll just help other people have more confidence in trying the natural way first and seeing how that goes for them. Alrighty, so any last words or comments, guys? You've been so great.
I just want to thank everybody for their participation. This has been phenomenal. But cancer is the symptom. It's not the problem. We have to heal it from the inside out and outside in. And so, Jade, I appreciate your attention to mind, body, and spirit here. It takes us healing all of them to get rid of the cancer. And as Jean has so beautifully expressed, you know, that she had to go through all the emotions and all the physical symptoms and all the healing. It's mind, body, and spirit. And so go to these resources. There are answers. And I appreciate Austin's input here, because clearly the body is the healer. The miracle is in the body. We just got to take care of it.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you find confidence. Go ahead, Austin.
Water too. I forgot. I was going to mention this earlier about water, and how water has the ability to hold intention and emotion as well. So even before you add your oils to water, because a lot of us drink our oils in water, even just setting the intention into that water will actually help with it when it goes down into your body and through your cells. It's going to charge energetically that water and your body, and actually put that vibration throughout your entire being, physically as well, emotionally and mentally.
Fantastic. Very good tip. Thank you so much, Austin. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for, you know, I respect Debbie. She got me on this journey, guys, and it was just, wow. I ran forward. It's great. So, guys, we'll wrap it up now because we have an exciting announcement next call. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.